Up next, our last startup for this section, I'd like to welcome on stage Hojoki, please.
Hello there. My name is Martin Böhringer. I'm CEO of Hojoki. When I finished university a few years ago, I decided to stay there a little bit longer to do a PhD. So suddenly I was a researcher, and so I started to do what researchers do, right? So I did, experiments or coded research prototypes, and most importantly, I published papers. And I didn't do that alone, but with lots of collaborators all over the world. And of course, as everyone does today, we used cloud apps to support this process. It took me a few months to realize that I used really lots of cloud apps with lots of different collaborators and lots of different projects. And to be honest, I completely lost track. I had no idea what was going on there, or what my collaborators were doing, or what the current status of all my project was. I'm sure many of you know how this feels. So I was really looking for a place to make all the cloud apps work as one. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a Facebook-like newsfeed, but for all my cloud apps? And this is exactly what Hojoki does. So Hojoki connects to all your cloud apps and builds you one integrated newsfeed of everything what's going on. So there you see that Tina just created an event for me, or that Lutz updated a shared notebook on Evernote, or that Danilo just added new source code. It's all inside. And of course, Hojoki notifies you if there's something new, and we also send you daily and weekly summary emails of what you might have missed. So let's start a short demo in the wildlife. Here's the screen. Okay, so we have a web app and we have mobile apps, as you can see here. And down there, okay. And so this is our iOS app. Let's start with the apps you can integrate. So here's a list. Our newest arrival is Box, which we just launched today. And you also have the usual suspects like Basecamp or Dropbox or Evernote or GitHub or the Google apps. So I'm sure many of you use at least 3 or 4 of the apps here. So Hojoki builds a newsfeed based on all of them. And like your Facebook newsfeed, you can just scroll through your feed and see what you might have missed in the last hours. So we see that the team back at home already is very busy at all this. And I could just have a look at an activity, see some details, and I can even open the file right within Hojoki, right? So that's the essence of Hojoki. And to be honest, I wouldn't be able to run Hojoki without Hojoki anymore. And luckily, we are not the only ones who love our own product. So here you see our user growth since December when we launched the public beta at LeWeb in Paris. We now have over 31,000 users, and we grew 40% last month. So we are really seeing some traction here. And the best thing is that we just started to implement our ideas. Just to give you an idea how powerful our newsfeed is. In all the apps you work with, right, you already have collaborators. So you have kind of micro-social networks in all your apps. And Hojoki's newsfeed integrates all those networks into one big graph, right? And like Facebook is your entry point into your social graph, where you can interact with friends and family, Hojoki will be the entry point into your productivity network, where you have all your collaborators and all your content and all your cloud apps in one place, right? So we just started to implement very exciting functionality, for example, a like button or commenting on top of our newsfeed, so that all conversation is going on within Hojoki. So now you can meet the team. So this is the team who builds Hojoki. We are 8 people, 6 of us have an engineering background, and we raised seed capital last year, and we are looking to raise an A round end of this year. So if you are an investor and you like what you see, you like what we are doing, then just contact me. And all of you should now go to hojoki.com, get your free account now, and never lose important updates in all your productivity apps anymore. Dankeschön. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gary, as you're busy there with your iPad, but I'm going to start with you.
Thank you. Again, sort of playing devil's advocate here, I think, obviously, you're getting into a space that a lot of other people are trying to break into, and there's a number of other sort of apps and environments and ideas out there doing something similar. What do you feel is what gives you that unique selling point that's going to make people download yours over someone else's?
Yeah, I think there are two spaces which are close. One space is the whole collaboration space with Yammer and Cheddar and so on. The main difference of Hojoki is that you can use it on your own. You don't need all your team to enter Hojoki to make it work, right? You just connect your apps and it automatically builds the newsfeed, right? So that's the main difference to collaboration apps. The other apps are, all kind of aggregation apps. So there are apps out there who aggregate your content throughout Dropbox and Google Drive, for example, so that you can access it. But we think if you look at yourself, how do you interact with your friends and family, right? It's your newsfeed, it's your Facebook newsfeed. And this is also the scientific answer to why is Facebook so successful. It's the newsfeed because it creates something we call awareness, right? And we think that the newsfeed is really the key to manage all the silos which are your cloud apps today. Because you are familiar with the concept of a newsfeed and it gives you this awareness of what's going on without the need of reading everything, right? You can just scroll through it.
All right, and where do you see you're going to make money from?
Okay, so there are two main revenue streams, right? So you wanted to ask it too, yeah? No. The obvious choice is to offer premium accounts. So many of our power users already pay premium accounts for our integrated apps. For example, Basecamp or Highrise are only on a subscription basis. And so we think that it's very likely that they are going to pay if we provide them additional value, for example, faster updates or an unlimited history. And another thing is with the collaboration features we just implement now, this is also very interesting in terms of team accounts, right? So Yammer, for example, Microsoft just acquires Yammer, maybe, maybe. So they do it very well in providing basic functionality for free. But if you want to join with your team and want to have administration functionality and control who enters your workspace, then you have to go premium. So this is one revenue stream, and the other revenue stream is also very exciting. It's advertising, which doesn't look like advertising. We already have more than 20 apps integrated, and so we need kind of an algorithm which we show first, so which we want to highlight in our app store, right? And we have very relevant target audience for software as a service vendors, like take Zendesk, right? Customer service app. We already know who of our users are developers, for example. And so we could say, hey, Zendesk, you can have advertising, or you are a suggested app for all our developers, and they would pay us for it.
What are some of your engagement stats? What are you seeing?
Sorry?
What are your engagement stats? What are you seeing right now in terms of user engagement?
There are two different stats we have. One is our weekly email on the weekend, which we send out. And you only receive it if you didn't unsubscribe and if you have relevant content in your cloud apps, right? If something is new. And 25% of our user base of 31,000 users receive this weekly, which is very cool. And the other matrix is how many old users come back on the web. And this is 5%, around 5, 6, 7% each week of the old users.
What is your daily actives?
We only measure it on a weekly basis right now. I would have to check back. I don't have it.
So you're not tracking your daily actives?
We track it, but in our stats we have it on a weekly basis. So I don't have it in mind, but I can.
Thanks.
I can give it.
Bindi?
Well, they both asked the questions I wanted to ask, but I guess one word of advice, in terms of your revenue model, have you thought about affiliate as well? In the sense you can sort of drive people to sign up for different apps and really become their central productivity specialist. Because I worry that how easy is it to build this product, for other competitors, and therefore how sticky can you make this product? So, can you become their personal productivity specialist and get them insights and whatever they need to make their day-to-day lives?
Yeah.
So I guess have more of a focus on the end user and the individual.
Yeah, interaction with our integrated apps is very important for us. We have by far the most integrations of all tools out there which do similar things. And for example, our Box integration, which I just launched, happened because Box contacted us and not the other way around. So they asked us, hey, would be cool if we would, also be integrated next to Dropbox and so on. And we only have 31,000 users. We just started. But just think about how it will be if we have a 7-digit user base, what we want to have next year, right? So we think that there is a great pressure for apps to be inside Hojoki, to reach our users as soon as we, grow up. And of course, affiliate is a very important part. If I say ads and advertising, I always mean affiliate.
Last question. Can you give me a description of your typical Power Premium paying user? Who are they?
Yeah.
What are they? And what are you doing to target that kind of character?
Yeah, it's typically a knowledge worker, a startup or a consultant or busy VC, for example, and who uses more than 5 apps with different people in different contexts. So take us, our startup runs on more than 12 apps. So we have Google Drive, Dropbox, GitHub, and so on, right?
So you can have a business-focused side as well then?
And
So focused on not just individuals, but businesses.
No, I don't like the wording business because we focus on the individual guy, we increase your productivity. But of course, what you do in the apps is you collaborate with some people. And collaboration means, you have a purpose. And if this purpose is business, okay. But if maybe you're a student or something, or a startup, for example, we wouldn't call ourselves a real business, right? We like to code things and to build things. And so when asking, are you B2C or B2B, I would answer with, we are B2, I don't care, right? We are B2 everyone who uses productivity apps.
So B2P, B to productivity.
Yeah, B2P, yeah, maybe, yeah. Sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your demo and taking the time. That was Hojoki.
Thanks.
Thank you.